In all but late summer, we expect to see rain. This, with the addition of nitrogen fertilisers, is what makes the pastures green. Rain, a fertile volcanic soil and warm weather provide ideal growing conditions. Although not everybody enjoys a downpour. This is temperate rainforest, but at times conditions are almost subtropical. Before the logging, the pasture and the pests, this must have been a unique and extraordinary place. Certainly this has been a land of extinction, and as the bush steadily creeps towards my studio, I work with a great view in agreeable circumstances, but extinction is always on my mind. This is a stitchbird, and no doubt it was in our bush, and common across the North Island, but within 50 years of Europeans arriving, the bird suffered a catastrophic drop in numbers. I feel obliged to paint it. The stitchbird has survived on a few offshore islands and with careful conservation is making a comeback. The North Island kokako has a similar story to tell, but it is presently a survivor. The South Island kokako, which had an orange-red wattle, is thought to have become extinct late in the 20th century, although there are faint hopes that it clings on somewhere. A close relative, the huia, is an iconic New Zealand bird. The beak form male to female is distinctly different. I don't know of any other species with this feature. This, along with the bird's distinctive tail feathers, made them collectible, and huia became extinct around 1907. The third member of the wattlebird family survives, although mostly on offshore islands. It is the saddleback, yet another remarkable New Zealand bird. Pushed to the brink of extinction, it is recovering. Not 20 metres from where I am painting, below the garden bank, Pukekos are nesting and rearing young. This purple swamp hen or moorhen may have arrived with the Polynesians. Another theory that it flew from Australia is interesting, because these birds are clumsy flyers and sometimes have difficulty clearing a fence. There is no doubting their relationship to this native though, the takahe, a large flightless bird that was thought extinct for 150 years, but rediscovered in 1948. It, like many other New Zealand birds, hovers on the brink of extinction. When a species falls to such low numbers, genetic viability can be a problem. A small gene pool may lead to inbreeding. Takahe already have fertility problems, and disease or some other factor could easily push this extraordinary bird over the edge. Sadly, New Zealanders have become used to visiting their native wildlife on offshore islands and fenced reserves. In predator-free conditions, as is the case here on the island reserve of Tiritiri Matangi, some species show a remarkable ability to bounce back. The New Zealand quail was known to science for only around 25 years before becoming extinct. Those on Tiritiri Matangi were thought to be a remnant population, but genetic analysis proved them to be an Australian introduction. Sadly, the New Zealand quail is lost to us. The North Island kokako, on the other hand, shows breeding success on Tiri and can still be found in a few North Island forests. But kokako are poor flyers, and predation is an ever-present concern. The saddleback is a conservation success story. Safe from the brink of extinction, it exists on several offshore islands, but bird malaria remains a threat. The blackbirds would have to go if saddleback ever returned to our forest, as they are a reservoir for the disease, and with so much farmland in our area, this might be difficult to achieve. The huia is emblematic of species loss, and I have missed seeing it by 2 generations. I must make do with the thrill of seeing the saddleback. There is no doubting the family resemblance, and if it returned to our bush, we would at least have the food to feed it. This is another New Zealand native, the cabbage tree, and I don't have a lot of luck with it. The leaves seem to get eaten out by pests, but this is the first one we've had come into flower in the garden, and it's covered in tiny little insects. And there's a bit of a scent to it as well. It's quite impressive.